can honestly think of no other video game films that have been as highly anticipated as Sonic Movie 3. And really, how could I? No other video game movie series besides maybe the live-action Resident Evil Paul Anderson movies have seen even a whiff of the same levels of success and love that the Sonic movies have. And when we take into context what Movie 3 is and how cherished the game it's pulling from is, you really do have a recipe for success. You have a recipe for a movie that might honestly give a Disney film a run for its money. I mean, let's hope so. Maybe that creatively bankrupt company can finally find something cool to make. But even though all of you, as well as I, are excited for this upcoming film, there is one disappointment that is lingering in the air. There is one problem that is shared by many, and that is the exclusion of Amy Rose. She really does need no introduction. Amy is perhaps one of the most prominent Sonic characters in the series. And with that in mind, you would have thought that she would have been introduced maybe, I don't know, Movie 2 or some of the Knuckles series, or is definitely confirmed to make some sort of appearance in this film. But nope. Nope, Amy is nowhere to be seen. She has not been any of the promotional material. And a lot of people are still holding out hope that maybe, just maybe, she's gonna be somewhere in the film. Or she could be a end credits tease like Tails in Shadow before her. But guys, I'm just gonna be dead honest, I really do not think she's gonna be in Movie 3 at all. We've already gotten leaks that the series creators are interested in pursuing Silver as a character and maybe making spin-offs centered around him. And he's the third hedgehog out of the trio, so if I had to guess, maybe Silver will be the post-credit scene at the end of Movie 3. Amy doesn't really have that same sort of marketability or appeal that a lot of people think she has. And that's probably one of the main reasons why she has yet to make an official appearance in any of the movies. And I think that it's just crazy. One little fact about me, I am a proud Amy Rose soldier. She is one of my favorite Sonic characters, period. There's a lot of issues in relation to why she hasn't been a main player in the movieverse yet, and we will dive into those issues in this video. But before we start, do remember to leave a like if you do end up enjoying this. I would really appreciate it. It helps out the channel a lot. And also subscribe for more Sonic content. I upload very frequently. You don't want to miss what's to come. And with that said, let's start talking about this, because I'm so tired, man. I'm so exhausted with this whole situation. Despite being as popular as she is, I still think Amy Rose is honestly one of the most overlooked and underrated characters in the series. And that's mostly centering around a lot of misconceptions with the character. Usually she's just relegated and dismissed as a crazy stalker trope whose entire being centers around Sonic the Hedgehog, and that's her whole character, and there's really not a lot of layers underneath. And that this obsessive and what some people would consider problematic love makes her one note and pretty annoying. And I shouldn't have to this is just not the case at all. Despite maybe not appearing so on the surface, Amy has a lot going on as a character. Her arc of going from a mundane citizen who can't really stand up for herself and being a slight damsel to being able to compete right alongside Sonic and the other major characters was really satisfying. It was really good. And despite Sonic being her main priority, there is a lot of stuff that she cares for as well, such as everyone around her. Amy Rose is best described as the manifestation of love. Much like the person she idolizes so much, she is uncompromising, she is inspiring, and she alone was able to redeem many villains who did not have their minds in the right place. I've seen a lot of claims that this character doesn't really have her own agency, and that is just false. Amy has always had her own agency. She has always had a profound effect on the cast. But let's talk about her love for Sonic and why it's not as well known as many people think it is. From the start, when Sega wanted Sonic to have a love interest, much like how Mario had Princess Peach, they knew that it wouldn't really fit with him as a character because Sonic is not one to settle down for anyone. It would compromise his free-natured lifestyle. So what they went with is, instead of having the hero chase the goal, they have the goal chase the hero. Amy is the main one pursuing the relationship, which is a pretty neat subversion, and I think it's pretty cool. But not only is she the one pursuing the relationship, but Sonic is the one keeping it going. Yes, both of these characters 100% do feel romantic feelings towards one another. And you may be confused by this because you're like, well, Sonic always runs away from Amy. Sonic is always uncomfortable whenever she gets super affectionate. And yes, that's true. But Sonic constantly giving Amy something to chase and keeping her going is part of a consensual routine that they have. Amy doesn't just love Sonic, she loves chasing Sonic. She loves trying to capture the wind, trying to obtain the unattainable, and having this pursuit, this passion, better refine her as a person. And the reason Sonic typically gets overwhelmed whenever Amy is around is because he's not really the best when it comes to being intimate or expressing feelings, because, you know, Sonic is usually always stoic and confident. He's not that big on romance. And that makes for a really endearing and a really fun dynamic where Amy is one of the few characters in the cast who can really just rival Sonic's attitude and put him in place, which is just awesome. And like I said, it made for a really thematic and a really cute relationship between the two characters. It's a really unique way of handling a video game love interest type situation. Nowadays a lot of that is gone, but I'm just really saying what used to be there, and what used to be there was pretty cute and pretty fun. But if that hasn't convinced you of Amy's just overall importance in the series, then I think we can just go with a more technical direction. Amy has been here since day one, honestly. Obviously not since day one, she wasn't there in 1991 when the first game released, but she was introduced in 1993 in Sonic CD. She has been here since the Genesis era, and she's always been a core part of the group. And with the movies, we've had everyone from the Genesis era introduced except for, say it with me, Amy Rose. The fact that Shadow the Hedgehog is having his full story told before we even get confirmation on Amy's existence in this universe is quite baffling. I get it, this is an adaptation, not everything can be adapted in the order that they are introduced in the original series, but like, come on. Next we have a larger issue that kind of transcends just petty Sonic arguments and opinions, and that's just overall the lacking female representation in the Sonic movies. These films are a complete sausage fest, okay? In movie 3 we're gonna have Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Tom even, Agent Stone, Robotnik, Gerald Robotnik, and Shadow the Hedgehog all being major characters. That's like, what, 8 characters, 7 characters, and they're all male. And look, I get it, this is a action, superhero-esque movie series directed and geared towards young boys. But the Sonic games have never been geared towards a specific demographic like that. They've always had a plethora of female characters as well. And it's just crazy to me that we're just not having any female representation at all, like not one female character. Now I know some of you say, but women, we have Maddie, Rachel, JoJo, and Wanda. Give me a fucking break, okay? No, we're not gonna settle on Rachel, JoJo, Wanda, and Maddie. We're not doing that. 3 of these examples are fine in their own right, but they're human characters and not really that major, and it's just, that does not count. I'm sorry, it just doesn't. And it's really disheartening because imagine a lot of like the young female Sonic fans who really love these films. They don't really have a character that kind of represents them in any way. They don't really have a character to be inspired by, which is insane because the games have had that since 1993. There's no excuse for this. So yeah, I've gone over why I love Amy Rose so much, why she worked as a character, and why it's just crazy that she hasn't been introduced in the movies yet. But one thing I did want to touch on before we wrap this video up is why her exclusion may be a good thing, and it's not going to be for a reason that a lot of you may predict. Because some people say, well, Amy and Rouge shouldn't be in movie 3 because the movie would be too bloated, which I just call bullshit on. It's an hour and 45-minute movie. Like, a lot of the characters are already established and introduced. The only new character being introduced is Shadow, and I guess Gerald. So, like, no, you can totally put Amy in there. No, my reason for kind of being thankful Amy hasn't been introduced in the movies yet is because I know that she would be fucked up. They would completely fuck up her character like they have all the other characters. I'm not trying to be pessimistic. I like the movies. I think they're fine. I think the characters in that specific context and isolation are fine. But when it comes to being accurate adaptations of their game counterparts, the only one that excels in this is Tails. Everyone else is drastically different from how they're usually supposed to be portrayed. And Amy would 100% just, I don't even want to think about it. Jeff Fowler has already expressed interest in, if he ever got the chance to introduce Amy, he would make her this interdimensional warrior. And I mean, do I really need to comment on that? That's like the antithesis of everything Amy is. And that, combined with the recent direction Amy has been going to, which is basically Sega's attempt to really repress or honestly to an extent take away her crush on Sonic, it make her a lot more generic and boring. There is just no hope at all that the Amy that we all know and love will make an appearance in movie 3 if she ever was in there. It's just, it'd be a different character. But like, the sad truth, like the really big pill that we all have to swallow is, regardless if Amy is in this movie or not, she's not gonna be in the movie. She's not. All 3 of these films are called Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic the Hedgehog is a character in them. He's the main protagonist in all 3, and yet Sonic the Hedgehog is nowhere to be seen in any of the movies. Okay, like that's basically what I mean. It's a losing battle. But yeah, in conclusion, it is very baffling how we haven't had Amy Rose be introduced in either of these films, and I do think it's to an extent kind of disrespectful to fans of the games, given her huge importance and prominence in those stories. But on the other hand, it doesn't really surprise me. I mean, you can like these films, I like them too, but at the end of the day, they're really just money generators meant to take every single trope imaginable that's marketable and fuse it all into one movie, where all of the big characters have some ginormous Hollywood name attached. These are very corporate movies. I like them. I had to always preference, or else I'm gonna get dogpiled by a bunch of angry movie fans. I do enjoy these movies, but these are very corporate movies, okay? They have a lot of focus group DNA, that's just how it is, and a character like Amy Rose being introduced will likely not happen in the near future. It will happen eventually once they run out of big characters to market, but it probably won't happen anytime soon. But anyways, what do you guys think? Do you guys think Amy should be introduced in movie 3 or should have some role, have a major or minor? Or do you personally not care and you would rather see other characters make their debut? Do let me know in the comments. I am interested to hear what you guys have to say. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, do leave a like. It helps out with the channel a ton, you don't even know. And please be sure to subscribe. I upload a lot of Sonic videos frequently. And real quick, I just want to talk about my audio drama that's coming out next month, Sonic Evolution. While the runtime is unclear just yet, it is estimated to be somewhere around 3 hours. Yes, probably triple the runtime of movie 3. So if you guys would be so kind, do check that out. I'd really appreciate it. I've worked really hard on it. It's a story that means a lot to me, and the voice cast knocked it out of the park. It's been a lot of work, but a lot of fun to edit. If you don't want to miss the premiere, do make sure to subscribe and have notifications on so you will be notified when it premieres. But yeah, I hope all of you have a wonderful day. Bye for now.